I want to introduce Doly Begum.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Janet. And thank you to all the other respected guests here today. I am so honored. I'm really honored to have such incredible leaders here and the role models here today showing us support. And thank you to the respected guests from our community for joining us. I am humbled by the tremendous amount of love and support that you've given me. A month ago, I made a promise. A promise of hope. A promise to create a movement for the people. A promise to empower the hard-working men and women to build a community where all can feel we belong. A promise to empower the next generation, to fulfill our parents' dreams, to make sure that the sacrifices our parents made are paid off. And because you trusted me, this ambitious daughter of 2 immigrant parents, and I think my parents are sitting right over there somewhere. And because you trusted me, this ambitious daughter of 2 immigrant parents, today we're embarking on this journey to fulfill that promise. I want to tell you that it is possible. When I look around this room, I see the dream. I see the dream in the eyes of the parents and the grandparents. I see the hope in our youth to break the barriers, to kick open doors, and achieve the highest of accomplishments. In Scarborough Southwest, which is actually one of the most diverse ridings with people of all color and backgrounds, these dreams and hopes can become a reality. We have many amazing, skilled workers with high levels of education and training to make this riding, and actually this province, an amazing place to live. And I know while this journey is possible, I know that it won't be easy. And because of neglect for our community's people and their interests, mismanagement of our assets, and underfunding by governments, it may seem almost impossible to even envision change. For 15 years, our healthcare system has not changed, despite the increasing need and public outcry. Our government should be ashamed that our most vulnerable people are being treated on the hallway and sometimes in a washroom. Shame. For 15 years, the quality of our public transit system has not changed. Even though the TTC price, the ticket to get on a bus or a train, has gone up year after year. And for 15 years, our long-term care homes have not changed, despite the increase in our aging population. And for 15 years, you know what else has not changed? The Ontario Liberal government and the lack of effective representation in this riding. That's way too long for a government to hold power and not deliver on their promises. We know that our seniors cannot wait 15 years for long-term care. We know that our parents cannot wait 15 years for a childcare space. And we know that the mothers and the sisters cannot wait 15 years for a government to attempt to bring pay equity. Let me ask you all something. If this government really cared to bring pay equity for women, why would they wait for 15 years to announce it right before an election?
Shame.
And as for the Conservatives, a party that cannot manage itself, just think about yesterday's announcement. A party that cannot manage itself does not have the competency to manage Ontario.
Woo!
And let's not forget what the Conservatives did in the past with our public services, destroying this province and selling it to corporate greed. And just think about the amount of times you avoided taking Highway 407 just because you couldn't afford it. Thank the Conservatives for that. They broke Ontario Hydro apart and started the sale of our electricity system. And you know who's paying for it? The taxpayers. We are paying for that. And it cost us billions of dollars. And as a result of these two parties' mismanagement, our economy is suffering immensely. Scarborough Southwest has one of the highest unemployment rate and the highest poverty rate in the province. When it comes to our children and youth, about 40% living in Scarborough Southwest actually live below the poverty line. And when it comes to this area where you're sitting in right now, the Oak Ridge neighborhood, 56%. 56% of our children and youth live below the poverty line. This is not the dream of our parents. And it definitely is not what our parents sacrificed everything for. When you work so hard and yet struggle to live paycheck to paycheck and you start to have doubts, then you give up on hopes. It shouldn't be this way. We deserve better. Our people in this riding deserve to earn a living wage so that we can provide for our families, so that we can provide for our children. We deserve to have good paying jobs with benefits. And the services in our province help us grow in our community. They strengthen us to do better. Each one of our services make it easier to find work, to do our work. And when low-income parents struggle to cover childcare costs, for example, it limits those opportunities. It closes doors for them. Now, I don't know how an economy can actually benefit by closing doors to a mother or to a father who's trying to go to work, who's trying to give back to the economy, who's trying to bring food to the table for their family. But we can change that. In his last letter to the people, Jack Layton wrote, "We can do better. A country of greater equality, justice, and opportunity. We can build a prosperous economy and a society that shares its benefits more fairly. We can look after our seniors. We can offer better futures for our children." I know Jack believed that it's possible. And you might hear some people dismissing such dreams and hopes, but we can make it a reality.
Yeah.
And I realize that I don't fit the picture of the typical MPP in Scarborough Southwest. And I know that I have not spent years and years at Queen's Park. But I stand here because I know that this is not about me or the NDP or a party or a particular person. But it is about the people of Scarborough Southwest. It's about the hard-working men and women who are sick and tired of waiting for a better tomorrow. I stand here because I believe that it's possible to make today better instead of waiting for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Woo! I know how it feels to watch a family member suffer from chronic illness, spend hours in the waiting room, and not receive adequate medical treatment. I know how it feels to walk into the pharmacy, give the prescription, and then walk out without the medicine because you just can't afford it. And I know how it feels to sit there, wait for hours in the cold for a bus, and then watch a packed bus go by, and then sit there worried whether I'll make it on time for work. And I know, as difficult as it might be, this reality of our lives have actually made us a lot more stronger. It has made us strong enough to fight for change. And many of us are tired of politics, and I don't blame you. There's a fear of change. There's a fear of change that people feel, and people are told to be satisfied with the status quo. I'm not the first daughter to want change, to dream of a better future. And I know that I'm not the first daughter to actually want to fight for change. I'm just one of the many ambitious children fighting for a better future. That is why we will work together to make those dreams a reality and show to our children that it is possible to bring change. In this election, we will defeat that fear. We will defeat that fear of change, and we will say no to status quo. And in June 2018, we will put an end to the conservative fear and the liberal government's 15 years of failures. And in June 2018, we will bring change for the better.